up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my only review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. They have returned. I am not happy about their return, but let's just get into it. So we start off with Trish and her son Xavier. They're in the garage and they're working out, and she just wants to catch up with him. What's been going on with him? He said that he doesn't want to be sad. He doesn't want to be depressed because a lot has been going on. We saw the fights that happened between Ken and Marquez, the fights that we have seen between Trish and Marquez, the fights that we've seen between Trish and Ken. And, you know, it's just exhausting. It's tiring. He is expressing that Ken is a good guy. He's a cool dude. But there are times where Trish has treated him wrong, where he didn't deserve it. And he said, I don't like the negativity between my parents. I don't like when my parents talk about each other. I don't like when anybody talk about you. And it makes him upset. He doesn't like it. Now, the whole entire time of her son expressing to her that he has been pretty much very upset about the whole dynamic of their arguments between their family members, it's just like, why did this have to happen? It shouldn't have happened like this. And Trish couldn't do nothing but accept the fact that her son is right. She has been on edge with her and Ken, and when they fight, it's not good, and she wants everything to go back to how it used to be, so she needs to have a conversation with Ken. You know, recognizing Trish's body language, she really has a hard time being in uncomfortable situations where she has to be honest and transparent. Because recognizing how Trish has not been a victim and how she's acted when it came to Marquez, neither has Marquez and neither has Ken. All three of these people have played a part in how their kids are feeling some type of way. So with Trish and Ken saying that the kids are good, the kids are happy, the kids are not happy. They have just became immune to the situation, but have had a hard time expressing it to you guys. So the fact that her son, who is 19, and is able to convey his expressions and his emotions like this is a beautiful thing. And it should be a telling thing that your son has way more emotional maturity than you do. And yes, you do need to talk to Ken. You do need to figure this out because it is exhausting to see this play out off the show, during the show. The kids don't deserve this. You know what I'm saying? But moving on. Nell and Chris. She is at home dusting her chandelier. Chris don't want to hire her housekeeper back. And she talks about how she did have a sit down with Destiny and how Destiny is interested in her godson, Twan. Chris was like, what the fuck? Wait. What? What are you talking about? I told her I don't like it. I know, Nell, but it's not your place to not like it. But I understand that this is such a weird thing for Destiny to want to do. Like, you can't date nobody else. First, it was Lance. Now it's Twan. What's the reason? Lance did give Destiny his blessing to go for it. But I'm with Chris. Is it her taking a page out of Martell's book, trying to be petty because, you know, since you didn't tell me you had a baby, I'm going to go and date your god brother? I wouldn't be surprised if that's what she wanted to do because Destiny is a vindictive type person. But I don't know why this is happening. I think this is unnecessary. This is weird. And then we hear Nell tell Chris that Letitia told Destiny that the reason why we left LA was because we knew that Lance had a baby on the way. Chris said no, that's not true. And before I even complete my notes, let me just say this. I don't give a damn whether or not Chris and Nell knew that Lance was having a baby when they left LA. It wasn't Nell's place to tell Destiny if she knew. It was up to Lance. So Letitia, I don't know why you're still trying to create an issue with Nell about why she didn't tell you why she left LA, and that's not a good enough reason for you. I don't give a fuck anymore. Whether or not, I don't care. Letitia, go find something else. Worry about your own situations. Why are you so concerned about what Nell got going on, please? Letitia and Nell are not in a good place because Nell said their families are off limits. So when Nell and Destiny met up to reevaluate their friendship, they were able to squash it. They're able to be cool. They're good. So while Destiny and her are cool, Nell don't know where she stands with the rest of the ladies. Well, to be honest though, Nell, I don't think these ladies like you because you're not conforming to how they will want you to act in this group. You are the oldest, right? But you're not being a pushover. You're not accepting the way they go about things. You're calling them out. You're wanting them to be more transparent and honest. And that's what they don't like. Moving on. Destiny. Destiny meets up with Twan. She's talking about she wanted to discuss more business opportunities for him to be her security guard because he did a very good job at guarding her body at her little rooftop event. And, you know, she's talking about any future events, she's going to need security. Who the hell is coming after you, Destiny? See, this is my thing. This is the issue that I have with Destiny, because she is trying to, for me, based off of what I am seeing in this moment in her conversations, it sounds to me she's trying to put out a narrative that she doesn't feel safe in certain spaces and she needs a bodyguard. But who is coming after you? If any rate, people are trying to come after you to get their money. Did you pay LeBerick back his money? Because I'm hearing that you didn't. I'm hearing you still owe him money. So I don't know why she brought the googly eye moment, and when they were interacting with each other, Twan didn't know what happened because he was just smiling, and he said because she's so beautiful. But what was the purpose of this sit down again? Now, she said it's to have more business opportunities for him to be her security guard. But no, Destiny, the real reason why you brought him here was because you wanted to know if there's more than business y'all can discuss. Keep it a book. You want to know if y'all can go out, right? So she said that I had heard that Trish said you were interested in me. Was that true? Is that something that you said? Twan don't remember talking to Trish. That could have been a lie. And he said, did you talk to Lance? She said, I did. He gave me his blessings. Yeah, I think he should know beforehand because, you know, I guess, you know, finding on the internet wouldn't be cool because I found out on the internet he was having a child. I said, Destiny, let it the fuck go. Let it go that Lance never told you he was having a child. Let it go. I need her to find another stick, another shade, because this is getting old. So, you know, she was saying how, as far as keeping it professional, do you think there's a possibility for us to have a relationship? He said, I think there could be. Did you speak to my mama? Meaning Nell. Yes. Yes, they had a conversation, and she felt like Nell needs to mind her business and focus on her and Chris, because Twan mentioned that Nell asked him if he had sex with Destiny before, and she said that was out of line. I do agree with that, Destiny. Nell should not be asking her godson's private business in that manner, or yours. I get that. But he did say, I do expect for things to start off from a friendship level. She said friendships are important as well as dating multiple people, because that's where I'm at right now. Are you okay with that? He said he's cool with it. She said, I want someone who accepts me for how I go about things and also accepts the fact that I'm a lot of different people. It sounded like you were crazy. Cue the Thriller sounds. Okay? She said, I mean, it's kind of cool, you know. I mean, I'm not mad that you are looking to date multiple people, Destiny. That's not an issue. But to say you are a lot of different people, cuckoo. That's crazy. But he was open up with wanting to build a friendship outside of business. And he said, it's cool. I'm just happy I'm sitting here with a beautiful woman. He even got her last name wrong. That was hilarious. But she didn't even know who his name was when he wanted to work with her. At the end of the day, I don't care. Destiny, this is not looking good for you to be hopping like this and having the show represent you in this way. I mean, yes, you're a single woman. You can do what you want to do. You can date whoever you want to date. But the way you choose who to date around the friend group is a bit odd and weird. It's painting you out to be a hoe, really. And you don't want that type of narrative. But anyway, that's all. Trish and Ken are in the house, and they have had a bad argument, and they haven't spoken to each other since then. Ken wants a change in the relationship. He wants to feel like a priority. So when she's in the room, they're reminiscing on the conversation she had with Xavier about him being hurt, seeing the way they argue and they fight, and they need to have a conversation. So Ken pretty much wants Trish to figure out a way to control her anger and her emotions. Because while he's aware of what the problems are, he hasn't seen no effort or growth for Trish to figure out how she can navigate them. And, you know, Trish was like, okay, do you want to be here? He said, I was getting to that point of wanting to leave, but he's not going to do nothing about it. He's going to say there needs to be some changes, because he feels like when there isn't any control in his life, he doesn't feel good about it. So he needs to come up with a way to regain some control. So he's all about, how does Ken feel? You know, when is somebody going to mention how Ken has been feeling? And then draws a comparison that when he is upset and he's angry, he still is cognizant enough to still not treat nobody else differently. Still be respectful, caring, loving. But when Trish gets upset, Trish will come at anybody that's in her presence. She will get mad and stay mad until she is not mad anymore. And, you know, she is still carrying the hurt and pain from all those years and treating everybody else like she's the problem, like they're the problem. And she's not holding herself accountable. That's how she's treating them. She is mad at the situations, but she's taking it out on everybody else. So Trish said, listen, sometimes when I'm in my own space, I don't even be talking. I don't even be wanting to be bothered. So I don't even have nothing to say to anybody. But because Ken internalizes it and assumes that he is the issue that she is, you know, trying to separate herself from, that's when he wants to, you know, come at her and is like, what's on your mind? Talk about it. And she don't want to talk about it. There are some times where it's not even that deep. There are some times where I feel like Ken likes to poke at Trish whenever she isn't talking about certain things or when she isn't in a mood to talk about certain things. And that's when she becomes really angry. And I don't want to deal with these people having the same conversations. They've been having the same conversations since they've been on this show. Both of them have an odd way of communicating. Both of them have ways where they don't express how they feel in moments. Ken is trying to act like he is so communicative. He is so upfront and transparent about his feelings. But Ken, for real, you have your own problem of trying to fix women who are emotionally unavailable. And that is an issue that I have with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that you do not act out in your feelings when you are upset. You're still, you know, consistent. You are still present. You still do what you want to do around the house. You still be loving and caring. And then you compare yourself to Trish, who honestly allowed for her emotions to take over her whole entire personality, where she is upset at everybody. She sometimes doesn't want to be in a space to cook for anybody, leave y'all starving. That's the way you're trying to put it. But in my mind, though, Ken, you are a grown-ass man, and her kids are of independent age to do fend for themselves if she doesn't want to cook because she is in her feelings about something. So you can't put that out there for my taste, okay? And for me, though, Ken, you're saying that you don't know how long y'all can go on like this. Do you know how many times I've heard you say that since you've been on this show? You have constantly put out an ultimatum. If Trish does not get a handle on her emotions, a handle on her feelings, you are going to leave. Yet, where are you? You're still here. Constantly trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Constantly trying to be Superman to fix her. When this isn't something new for you because you knew that Trish had all of this trauma and hurt when you got into the picture. She didn't just become this because you were here. Hell no, she's already had this and you've already been through this with her. So stop trying to have this be a challenge for you to fix her because you're so healed, because you know how these things work. And yes, she's not operating enough where she can give that back to you. But I don't know if you're not even trying to give her the real understanding as to why it's hard for her to reach that level with you. While I'm not giving Trish no pass at all of how she's operated, she is someone who has dealt with a lot of pain and anger and grief. But you can, I don't know. It seems to me you're putting a time frame of how you want her to get over it. You want her to just accept it, move on, and give you all the attention you want in the relationship without really being patient to understand where she's coming from, because you want this to be all about you. So we see flashbacks of what has formed this kind of stress in her life. She has been very angry at life, you know, with her losing her parents, her sister, very close in, I guess, in the same year, if I can remember. And, you know, yes, to say that she doesn't get out of that space and she needs to let go of what happened all those years ago, and that you don't know if there's a way for you to come back from this, I call cap and bullshit. Because even though this was happened so long ago, we already know the outcome of what has occurred. They're still together. We see them, you know, working out, going out to dinner, trying to showcase they're in a happy relationship. You are not going anywhere, Ken. That's all I can say in this moment. You're just trying to throw a threat that you want Trish to get it right, or you're going to go. You ain't going nowhere. As much as Trish definitely is not really trying to fight for you to stay, you're not really going to go anywhere anyway. But we're going to move on from there. We're going to move on from there. We see Nell. She is at her daycare center. She's overseeing some assignments. Chris comes by just to check in on her. Lance is at her daycare doing some work for her. And she wanted to check in, see what he's doing. She likes to see him work in his element. And we know Lance has his own business. And he's been so busy with other projects that he's been putting Nell's project on the back burner whenever he has time. And of course, she always feels happy that he is doing some work for her because that's his mom. He's going to make sure she's good. And of course, being his mom, she's going to want a discount. I ain't going to be mad about that. Martell comes by because Martell don't have no friends. He needs someone to film with. And just giving Lance props on being a good worker and everything. So we're just talking about his investment property that he hasn't been making any money on, and that he is using that to give Ariana a place to stay. Because he's tired of paying for her apartment. So now that her lease is up, she can move into that space. He did tell us of his conversation he had with Marceau and that they came to an agreement. They will not talk negatively about one another or about their significant others, knowing how long that's going to last. So the women are going to be on the same page as well. He said, I have no idea. I don't know when the conversation is going to happen between the bird and Letitia. We'll see. I need to know for real. Has Letitia ever spoken to Ariane? I need to know because I doubt Marceau would ever put Ariane in the position to talk to Letitia. I think Marceau has spoken to Ariane. That's what I believe, but I don't think he'll ever put Letitia in front of Ariane. I don't think so. So as far as, Martell is good with Marceau right now, there are still issues with the rest of the group. Trish and Ken got their own problems. Nell and Tisha got their problems. But he's good that he is not in no more problems. He is cool. Yeah, so Chris and Nell, they want to create a night where everyone can just have some fun. Maybe do a game night. So Martell was like, so it's just games? Is it like sex games? Interesting. They're saying, no, just some fun games. Nothing bad. He said, cool, because we don't want to start no drama. We don't want no kind of questions that's going to lead to any drama. No, that's not what it's going to be. Just a good fun time. All right, that's it. So we end things off with Trish meeting up with Dr. Francis. Love Dr. Francis. So wanted to know, why is she here? She said that her anger has affected her for the last 10 to 12 years. And it all started when her mother, father, and her sister passed away. And it pretty much separated everybody. Everybody is not as close as they used to be. She is a part of a 5-sibling family, but it hasn't been as good. So what brought their separation was when they lost their father. And their father was the drill sergeant because he obviously was retired military. So he had that militant energy, that authoritative tone. And she said her father was everything to her. He was her best friend and she wanted to be like him. But she also realized that she's angry like him. It sounds to me that she talked about her father will always try to prepare them to live life and learn about life, and there were things that he didn't follow through. Like she used the term, do as I say and not as I do. That's what she has heard her father say multiple times. But then there was something that he didn't follow through, and that she is angry at him for it. I feel like she is alluding to the fact that maybe her father was sick and maybe he did not do his research, or he did not go through the journey of figuring out how he can be better and live longer. So it's kind of like, how can you tell us to do this, but you couldn't do it? So she thinks that she's an angry soul and that her grief turns into anger. And Dr. Francis wanted to know, how does she manage her grief? She said she goes to the gym practically every day. And whenever she's done, she is feeling tired and exhausted. Is that feeling gone? Or does that feeling follows you home? She said, it follows me home. He said, okay, why? Are you feeling it? Because obviously, using the gym reference of her putting her anger into something physical, she is lifting weights. She's probably punching a bag. She's doing squats. She's putting physical activity into releasing that anger into something. But it's still weighing in her mind. And as much as she's being physical throughout the day to relinquish all of this anger, it is still heavy on the brain. So Dr. Francis says there is a difference between an angry person and an angry soul. And Trish just breaks down and cries because she is just tired of being angry. And Dr. Francis says it takes strength to grieve, but it's also discovering how strong you are, but also developing a moment to reflect on your weakness. And I think that's what Trish has a block about. Trish doesn't know how to show up vulnerable. She doesn't believe she could be in a safe space to be emotional and express how she really is feeling. Because she thinks she can handle it on her own and that she is strong, but she's not as strong on her own. And while talking about wanting to handle her grief alone, she says you're going to need a spotter, because when you are working out with a partner, you have someone to spot you holding weights and everything, helping you guide through the workout. Did you have that? She said, I thought I had it. With my ex, I thought he was my spotter, but he left me alone to deal with all of the heavy weight, which is very, very sad. We've already called out Marquez before when discovering that he left Trish when she did lose her mother, father, and sister. He wasn't emotionally available to be there for her, and that is kind of like a huge betrayal that I think that Trish is having a hard time forgiving. That you left me at the most vulnerable moment of my life, and I don't know how to forgive you because you never stayed enough. You never stuck around enough for me to feel it and deal with it. You know, you just left and then you come back like everything is all cool. We ain't got no issue. Well, as far as like, you know, for me, I would say as far as like, you know, with Marquez not holding himself accountable in that aspect as to why Trish responds the way that she does. Because as much as he wants to call out the things that Trish has done, Ken has done, Marquez is not a victim. Marquez has done things that have probably molded and created Trish to be this way. And like she said, I thought that I had my person, but he left me alone to figure it out by myself. And she has also developed a way to assume that people wouldn't want to help her without her opening the door for people to want to help her. And she says she doesn't like to get close to people because she is afraid of losing them. So recognizing that she has a hard time opening up in her relationship and how she doesn't trust people, Dr. Francis wants to show her that you don't have to be so strong. And she is literally fighting back a moment to become completely vulnerable, completely transparent. It's hard for her to do it. And she recognizes that she has put a lot of pressure and responsibility on herself to figure things out and not allowing for her to receive help from her family. And maybe it will help her become less angry and recognize that people are not looking to harm you. They're looking to help you. I do appreciate this therapy session. I do hope that she continues therapy even off the show because Trish needs it. And Trish is, her body language and her facial expressions are so like rock solid. They're so stone-like because she really doesn't want to showcase how hurt she is. She doesn't want to showcase how angry, how sad, how mad. She doesn't want to. And the way that she operates in communication is just like not there. She just expects for people to just get it and deal with it. No, you have to talk about these things. You have to recognize other people's feelings and not just yours. And it's vice versa. Everybody has to take their time and take their turn to recognize where you're coming from and recognize how they can help you. And you have to allow the help. And I feel like for what it was in the beginning, she did not give herself proper time to grieve her parents and her sister and her relationship with Marquez before she got involved with Ken. She is still in that ball of anger and grief and sadness. And she brought somebody in that wasn't prepared to deal with her. And she wasn't prepared to deal with what he's asking of her. But all in all, I do appreciate this scene. Hopefully she recognizes more about herself and doesn't give me bullshit. I really hope she don't. But that was pretty much the end of the episode. I do think that this first episode, it was okay. I mean, we find out in this upcoming episode, we're going to see Nell and Kimmy argue for what? I would love to know. And that is it. That is all. But please stay tuned for my next video. I'm see you guys later. Bye.